Today I'm going to walk you through the complete process of how I created this life-size, game-accurate Yoru mask from Valorant, from finding the model all the way to the final finished piece. So first, I searched online and found a 3D model of the Yoru mask. At first glance it looked usable, but once I inspected it more closely, there were quite a few issues. The mesh wasn't clean, there were overlapping faces, and the geometry wasn't optimized for 3D printing. If I had tried to print it directly, it would have caused errors or poor results. So instead of fixing small issues, I decided to fully redesign the model in Blender. I imported the original file and started rebuilding it piece by piece, making sure everything was clean, solid, and printable. One of the biggest improvements I made was splitting the mask into multiple parts. This makes a huge difference when it comes to multicolor printing and overall print quality. Instead of trying to paint everything later, I separated the model into individual components: the blue base, the orange accents, and the white teeth. Each of these parts was designed as its own piece so they could be printed in different colors and assembled afterward. To make assembly easy, I added snap-fit connections between the parts. This means everything aligns properly and fits together without needing complicated tools. A little bit of super glue is enough to secure everything in place. Once the modeling was complete, I exported all the parts as STL files and prepared them for printing. I also created a fully ready-to-print 3MF file with optimized settings, supports, and color assignments so anyone can just download it and start printing without extra setup. You can find that file linked in the bio if you want to try this yourself. Now let's talk about the printing process. For this project, I used the Bambu Lab A1 combo, which is great for multicolor printing and consistent results. The main mask piece took around 8 hours to print. I used a 0.12mm layer height to get a smoother surface finish and capture all the fine details. The white teeth pieces were much smaller and took about an hour to print. After that, I printed the orange accent parts, which also took roughly an hour. For supports, I chose to use normal supports instead of organic ones. While organic supports can look cleaner, I've found that normal supports are more reliable for complex shapes like this and reduce the chances of print failures. Once all the parts were printed, it was time for post-processing. This step is really important because it directly affects how clean and professional the final result looks. Removing the supports from the main mask took around 15 minutes. After cleaning everything up, the surface looked really smooth, and the details came out exactly as expected. The teeth and orange parts had fewer supports, so they were much quicker to clean, just a few minutes each. Now comes the most satisfying part: assembly. Thanks to the snap-fit design, the teeth pieces clicked right into place. I added a small amount of super glue to make sure everything stays secure. Depending on your printer's tolerances, you might need to lightly trim some edges with a hobby knife to get a perfect fit. After that, I installed the orange accent pieces using the same method. Everything lined up nicely, and the mask really started to come together at this stage. push the realism even further, I included battle damage details directly in the model. These small imperfections give the mask that worn, in-game look. To highlight these details, I used black acrylic paint and a fine brush. I carefully painted into the damaged areas and wiped away the excess to create a subtle weathering effect. This step took around 30 minutes, but it made a huge difference in how realistic the mask looks. Finally, I applied a clear coat over the entire mask. This not only protects the surface, but also gives it a clean, premium finish. And here's the final result. A full-scale, game-accurate Yoru mask that's perfect for cosplay, display, or just adding to your collection. If you want to make one yourself, you can download the complete files from the link in the bio. Thanks for watching and happy printing.